Hi YouTube, it's AC Dodd here again, and welcome to part 2 of the honing video. If anybody of you are interested in where I'll get this or where to get one of these from, this is actually available from Fondera in the UK. Fondera.co.uk is the website address, and it's known as a car portable hone. They are available. You need to look at the website and then contact the firm for prices. They do various sizes, but the size you want is the 63 to 500 mil. Obviously, as you see, this won't do 500 mil, but you get extended rack sets that go in here with it to make it bigger if you need to. But if you're just doing classic A series like I do, then the standard 63 mil which is the largest size they do, will do the job. Okay, one of the first things you need to do, if you haven't already done it, I'd already done this because I was boring the block, but is measure your pistons, because this is what determines the size of the bore, nothing else. So you need to accurately measure, and what you do is you measure on the skirt, and in this case it's not here, it's somewhere in between, and here it's about this position. This gives us the largest measurement, the largest diameter reading. So that's the position, or that's the measurement you take. Now, interestingly, I've marked this on the boxes, and this is an example of what happens if you're not careful with temperature. So my micrometer lives in my workshop, and I've deliberately waited until the weather warmed up and I could get a more constant temperature that I could hold in the workshop. Now, when I measured these, it was currently freezing outside, and my micrometer, for example, was a lot colder than it is today. So as it's warmed up, that's expanded somewhat. The pistons would have also changed sizes. Okay, so today I've noticed I've got about 2 to 3 tenths difference in the sizes, tenths of a thou that is. So I'm having to adjust my sizes to ready to hone. So one of the first things I learned about honing is don't do it if the temperatures are extreme. You've got to make sure that your temperatures are under control. So in my workshop, my nominal temperature range is around 12 to 13 degrees Celsius, and if I can't hold that, I just don't even attempt to hone to get the right sizes. Okay, so in terms of my measurement tooling, I've just set that now using the micrometer, and the 0 reading on the gauge now indicates the correct clearance for the smallest piston I have here. So I'm going to go over to the block now, gauge the bores, and then start honing. Okay, so this is the engine block. It's already bored, so we're going to set it up for honing now. So I'm going to go down, put the dial bore gauge in, and then we'll have a measure and find out what the tightest holes are. Now, I've already been down here, and holes number 1 and 2 are the tightest. We've actually got 4 thou to take out, so there's a fair bit of honing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. Put the hone in the block, wind it out till it makes contact, and then give it some pressure. And I can't describe that, that's just a feel developed over time. That's too loose, so we'll just add pressure. Right to the bottom, and then sweep the bore, and then up the top, and stop. Now, one of the most important things to understand when you're honing a block is heat. Now, that operation of honing there, I can feel that bore, and it's hotter than that bore. So that means that when you measure it at the moment, you'll get what I call the apparent bore size, which is not the true bore size. Okay, so that bore will indicate bigger than it really is. So we have to bear that in mind when we keep machining. So what I'm doing now, that's the rough the coarse stones. So I'm just busting that out quickly to get rid of the meat. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm making sure that it's parallel. So I've already taken 2/1000 out of that, and we're about 2/10 smaller than we are at the bottom. So I need to keep going and get that down to about 0.5 from the finishing size, and then I need to let that cool down before I can recheck the size, and then maybe hone a little bit more to get it closer to that finished size, and then leave it for the fine stones. If it goes in a bit tight, you just need to adjust. Still a bit tight. And you need to keep machining and keep checking. Now that's quite warm now, so that's going to be bigger than what it would be when it cools down. So we've got about, at the bottom of the bore, we're seeing about 1.2 thou. In the middle of the bore, we've got about 1.4. And at the top of the bore, we've got about 1.6. So we're a little bit smaller at the top. So just concentrate on the top now to get that parallel. The other thing we'll do is we'll also check it at different positions, just to see that we're keeping it round, which we are. So that's good. See where we are now. Okay, so that we're pretty parallel now, within 1/10, and we're about 7 to 8/10 from the finished size. So now what I'm going to do, when that cools down, that's going to be too small. So I'm just going to take a little bit more out, another few tenths, and then hopefully that'll get us to around 5/10. And then once that, or in fact it might take us a bit closer to 0, but once it cools down, that'll be the right size again. Okay, now I think that will be where we're stopping on that cylinder for now with those coarse stones. So quick measure, we've got 4/10, 4/10, and about 3/10. So yeah, that's very good. So we're going to stop there, let that cool down, and we can see what the actual bore size is once it's got there. So when we move on to the next bore, we did this one first. I'm now going to do this one, and the reason for doing this one is because that's still got some heat in it and I don't want it to affect the bore near it. So we're going to go to one at the other end. Now I've already been honing this one and it's a bit small in the middle, so I'm going to concentrate on that. And that should be it for that one. Okay, so we've done 1 and 4. Now a good bit of time's elapsed now since we've done 1 and 4, so this block's cooled down. But even though I'm going to go back to this one, and this one was actually done a few hours ago, so this block is a nice and normalised temperature now. So we're going to go on to this one, which is away from that one, which we only did a little while ago. First time in this hole, so this one might be a bit rough. Bit more cut. Have a measure and see where we are. Okay, it's sometime later, so now we're going to come back and do cylinder number 3. Okay, so that's what the crosshatch looks like so far, and that's with the rough stones. So now we need to go back through once that's cooled off and hit it with the 280 grit stones and finish it off. Okay, so let's check our sizes as we go. So check the top of the bore. Excellent. Middle of the bore. Excellent. And the bottom of the bore. So we can see that my finished bore on that one, we just got a few tenths, 3/10 at the most to take out there, and at the bottom just a 1/10 or so. Although the bottom of the bore doesn't matter because the rings don't pass that, so as long as we've got the right clearance, there we go. So we're just a 1/10 or so at the bottom. So what I'm trying to say here is the rough honing is just that, it's to get it somewhere near right, and then the final hone that goes in with the finer stones is we can control that finish much better and the accuracy. So let's just have a look at bore number 3. Yeah, so we're just a little bit bigger there. Yeah, going down the bottom. Same again. Okay, so a little bit more work to do on that one. They're all slightly different, but they'll all come up pretty good when we do the final stone finish. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. That brings to a close part 2 of the honing video. Join me for part 3 when we finish that block off and we also look at a 1380. Anyway, as ever, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.